In my first video, I talked about the M1 iPad Pro, a tablet supercharged by the M1 chip, but it was still kind of useless because the iPad did the exact same thing that other iPads that didn't have the M1 chip could do. There was no difference, just costed more. Just before I continue, sorry I've been away a bit on this channel. I've been busy with my second channel, link in the description. I was working on a video for the CW's Supergirl show, which is not really a good show, so I was gonna rant about it a bit, but then I got like 7 different copyright strikes or warnings. Yeah, so that video might not see the light of day. I'll just do another movie or TV series. Anyway, so here's another M1 thingy, the 16-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro. I mean, the name's better than some of the things Apple have come up with, but they're not as bad as Sony. Definitely not as bad. If you've been following anything computer related, you've most likely heard of the M1 Pro and the M1 Max MacBook Pros. Wow, that's really a tongue twister. Apple says these are crazy fast, and I have to admit this is pretty fast, and it's not even the Max version. So speed isn't really the problem, to be quite honest, and I don't know if there are any. So I'll just talk about the things I do like about this computer, and if I'm nitpicking enough, I'll find some things I kind of don't like. The first thing I'll talk about is the build quality. It's boxy because everything Apple related now has to have a boxy look. This means it looks a lot thicker than it actually is, but it is quite heavy though because of all the components. I mean, I'm coming from a 13-inch, so it looks like a toddler compared to this one. The ports are back, so took you long enough. I mean, Windows laptops have had these for like decades now. And then you just took it off because you wanted us to buy more dongles. There are 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, 1 HDMI port, 1 SD card slot, which means I won't keep buying $40 dongles that go missing. 1 headphone jack, 1 MagSafe port, which is really good, so if someone trips, they don't break your computer. Everyone is happy the ports are back, but I do wish it had a USB port because my microphone is USB only, which means I still have to keep a dongle. I'm sorry, I just have a really bad experience with dongles. The screen is pretty good. Let me throw some numbers at you so you know how good this is. This screen has 120 Hz refresh rate, 1000 nits of brightness, 1600 nits of peak brightness, 10,000 mini LEDs, 1:1 contrast ratio, and can show 1 billion colors. It is 16.2 inches in size, has 7.7 million pixels, and is the same exact display as the $5,000 Pro Display XDR. That's a lot of numbers. What do they mean? It means the screen is awesome. It's good. It's more than good. It's better than good. It's better than great. I think this display being this good is actually a problem because if you need to find an external monitor that will match this display, then you spend $5,000 on a display with a $1,000 stand. But wait. Let's be honest. $5K for a monitor plus a $1,000 stand. Who actually buys this stuff? Like literally a stand, $1,000 apart from like the pro YouTubers. But what kind of random person just spends this kind of money on this thing? I don't get it. It now has a 1080p front-facing camera to make your virtual calls less bad. I mean, they're quite an improvement. Throughout my online school, I just use my iPad because MacBook webcams are pretty bad. The speakers are great. It's a 16-inch MacBook, so it has to be louder. I'll play some non-copyright music because we all know how YouTube feels about that kind of stuff. The touch bar is gone, and to be honest, it can go wherever it wants to go. It's just a cool thing for people to go like, oh, what is that? Then you have to show them by either adjusting the brightness or showing off some emojis. But let's be honest, it wasn't really that useful. Plus, not every app was actually optimized for it. For Safari, the only thing you could do was basically switch tabs, and who wants to do that? How's that useful? It was cool, but not really useful. Anyway, we've got proper function keys now, and they're a lot better than just a flashy touch bar that doesn't really do a lot of stuff. The battery life is insane though. I'm used to charging my computer almost every 2 to 3 hours because my old one was dying a lot. This particular one has a 100 watt-hour battery, which is the highest capacity you're allowed to take on a plane. It's pretty refreshing not having to look for a charger all the time and try to keep it plugged in always. Now for the chip. The chip is the whole hype about these MacBooks. That's the reason why you want to buy a computer, not just because it's pretty. Don't get me wrong, this computer isn't the flashiest ever, but it's not bad looking. If you want a computer with a slim and pretty aesthetics, go for the MacBook Air, not this Pro. Okay, time for me to throw some numbers again. This chip is the M1 Pro with a 10-core CPU, 16-core GPU, 16-core neural engine. It can work with 3 different codecs, including ProRes, HEVC, and H.264. What do all those numbers mean? It's fast, scary fast. Honestly, if I got the M1 Max, it would be like a waste of money for me because I don't have that demand for that amount of power. The M1 Pro can already handle 4K, 8K stuff and handle Blender pretty well, so unless you have that super heavy and hyper workflow, the M1 Pro is more than enough. Now I've talked about the things I do like. How is the user interface? Because I mean, numbers don't usually mean a good user interface. The user experience has been awesome, I can't lie about that. Coming from a 13-inch laptop, I was blown away by the display because of the super thin bezels and the resolution. Once I finished setting up the Mac, I was really impressed by the screen. I just took a moment to take it all in. And for video editing, the screen is better because bigger screens are better for video editing. I can see a whole lot more and I have a lot of room to work with now. Typing on MacBooks have been great ever since they got rid of those butterfly switches, so I have no complaints about that. The massive trackpad really gives me a lot of room to click on stuff, I guess, because on the 13-inch the trackpad was a lot smaller, and now having a bigger trackpad is so much better. The ports really made working and using this thing in general a lot better. I can connect through the HDMI port to watch movies on a bigger screen if I wanted to, or just edit videos in a much bigger screen. I'll probably almost never do a video without having donations in it. Why? I don't know. Maybe I actually care about people. Maybe I don't know. There are different certified websites you can donate through, and one of them is GoFundMe.com, which is a platform that allows people to raise money for different events around the world. If you want to donate to creatives, you can do that through Kickstarter.com. This is a platform that funds certain creative projects, and you can support that as well by funding and donating. Just be cautious because these websites are online, so take the same appropriate precautions you would when you're shopping online or working with money online. That's all from me. Thanks for watching. Please show support by subscribing to this channel and my second channel, link in the description, liking the video, and you can comment on what movie or TV series you would like me to review next or what you would like me to talk about on this channel. See you in the next video.